Hello, my name is Lucia Medina, and today I will be presenting on the chemical ecology of bee pollination. The purpose of my research was to answer the question, how do chemical traces left behind on flowers by previous insect visitors influence subsequent bee visitation for honeybees and bumblebees specifically? After conducting my research, I found that there is an association between honeybees and bumblebees refusing or accepting to visit and pollinate a flower, depending on the previous visitor that left behind chemical traces, regardless of it being of the same or of a different species. Here we have observed data from two different studies that were combined in order to study bees accepting or refusing a flower based on the previous visitor. The diagram shows the majority of bees, honeybees, and bumblebees will refuse to visit a flower if it has already been visited. In the graph, we can see that a higher number of flowers was refused by bees compared to the number of flowers that were accepted. Why is this important? The main reason is pollination, a key ecological occurrence that is necessary for survival. Without pollinators, most flowering plants would not be able to reproduce, causing detrimental effects to ecosystems, plant and animal species, and human life. Because bees are such great pollinators, it is essential to understand the chemical interactions in this process that plays such a fundamental role in life on Earth. First, I began by collecting bumblebee and honeybee flower visitation data. I pulled original raw data from two papers and combined it in the table below, and this data was used to develop the observed graph that was previously shown. The data in blue was taken from the article Chemical Ecology of Bumblebees, which looked specifically at bumblebees visiting a flower after another bee had visited it or after a honeybee had visited it. This is what bumblebee same and bumblebee different stand for, and the same applies for the data in the orange, which was taken from interorder interactions between flower visiting insects, which looked at honeybees visiting a flower after another honeybee had visited it, which is what honeybee same stands for, and then honeybee different stands for honeybee visiting a flower after a bumblebee had visited it. And next, I conducted the chi-square test, and I did this by calculating the expected values from the combined observed values that were pulled from each paper, allowing for the difference of the observed values versus the expected values to be calculated using the formula observed minus expected squared over expected. From here, I then found x squared and the degrees of freedom, and after that, all of the calculations that were performed generated a p-value of about 0.04, resulting in a statistically significant test result supporting my main conclusion. Thank you very much.